It's time to continue on with the Paranormal Activity series. Today I'm going to be talking about Paranormal Activity 2, released by Paramount Pictures, October 22nd, 2010. It also stars Katie Featherstone from the first one, and the guy who plays Mika makes an appearance in this too, because a lot of people got actually confused with this. People think this takes place after the first one. This actually takes place just before the first movie because you see Mika and Katie in it before because it's their it's Katie's sister who's experiencing the paranormal activity and stuff, and yeah, I'll get more into that in a sec. But yeah, it's produced by um, Jason Blum and Oren Pelly, written by Michael Pert, Christopher Landon, and Tom Paps. Directed by Todd Williams, who's also done The Door in the Floor and Stephen King's Cell, the film adaptation for that. This had a budget of $3 million and it made over $177.5 million. So, yeah. Paranormal Activity 2, like I said, is actually almost like a prequel to a lot of people think this one takes place in the future in the same house. It doesn't. I think a lot of people overlooked that and probably just got lost in the jumble because they only put in like a little bit of text in the middle of the film. But so yeah, so you're following Katie's sister, who basically they have a newborn son and an older daughter, who and they're just living normally, and they start documenting it for so the son can see like his childhood growing up and stuff like that. So they have a camera, but then it seems like a break-in happens, or what they think is a break-in that happens, and so they install a whole pile of like nanny cams and stuff like that, and cameras up in the corner of rooms and stuff like that to keep an eye on the place all around the house and stuff like that, so they can capture if someone breaks in and stuff, which is normal. A lot of people do that nowadays, and even when this film came out, so it seemed kind of legit for the most part. And then you just follow them to their lives. But then paranormal stuff slowly starts becoming more and more prevalent in the home, and they're not sure what to do. Their housekeeper sort of thinks something's going on and starts trying to get rid of it, but they think she's doing rituals and stuff, so they fire her. And then yeah, it escalates pretty quickly. Once the ball gets rolling, it gets rolling, and the daughter finds more interest into this. Figure out what's going on, so she looks more into like the small little hints and stuff like that, and comes across that there was certain like rituals. You learn of like rituals performed by the parents of the sisters, and basically um, they need the firstborn son of every family to. That's why the spirits are attacking, and yeah, stuff like that. A whole pile of other stuff is involved in this storyline. I might spoil some of it, by the way, so be forewarned about that. But yeah, so they definitely, and then it basically builds and builds to this really big mess climactic scene. Um, and it was pretty interesting to see this film. I haven't seen this one since it was in theaters, so a while ago. Well, I think I watched it once on Netflix shortly after it was on there. But yeah, anyways, yeah, it's a fun time. If you like the first Paranormal Activity, you're gonna love this one too. They definitely do a good job of explaining and build more on the lore behind why the paranormal stuff is happening. A lot of people overlook this. Like I said before, a lot of people think this film happens in the future, like after it. It's in the same house. It is not. It's her. It's like I said. It's Katie Chick's sister who was first attacked, and their family went missing. And you don't. And it sort of like puts those together near the end and stuff, where yeah, and then it's supposed to happen to Paranormal Activity. So the first one, and it moves to her because it couldn't get to um the family, or was done with the family, and it needed to get to her as well. But yeah, anyways, it's a little bit messy, but yeah, a lot of reviewers tend to think this happens in the future, though, for some reason, which it doesn't. So I thought the way they did this sequel and set it up, it was actually pretty well done. I was pretty impressed with that. The special effects and stuff for like the ghosts attacking and dragging people and stuff. You see a lot more of that in this one, and it is pretty spooky and interesting to look at. I still can't really figure out how they would have done it, but it's still a fun time to see that. And this is the one where you see like the baby go up the side of the crib and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool effects and stuff used in like that. It takes a little while to build up, but you definitely feel for the characters and the family. It's your typical family for the most part, and that near the end though, when like a lot of like the major paranormal stuff happens, some of it can be like a little overdone, and it seems like a little far-fetched for certain parts, but overall it's still a fun time, and it definitely incorporates the original well, and it's a good companion piece to the sequel. I thought it was really well crafted, and yeah, Paranormal Activity 2 was good. It's about as good as the original, in my opinion. There's a little things that are a little far-fetched, but I love the cast and loved how well it was acted and how freaky it got near the end and stuff, like with the mother and stuff like that. All that stuff was perfect. So overall, pretty impressed. Definitely a solid sequel for the series and a good direction that they put it in. So I liked how they built upon that as well. So Paranormal Activity 2, I'm giving this one 4.5 out of 5. It's almost a really good found footage film, like almost perfect, I'd say. But with a few little tweaks here and there, minor problems, just personal opinions. If they would have like ironed out certain things, it would have been a very solid sequel, but one of the ones where it's better than the first. So definitely a good watch. Yeah, I just had to point out like the timeline thing where a lot of people are getting that confused for some reason. But yeah, also I do know the third one takes place in the 80s with the two sisters beforehand, the one that they don't talk about at the end of this one. A little foreshadowing for the next one when I review it. So just so you're aware, that's the timeline, how they set it up for the first three at least. And I think that's a really good, solid way to do it and that. But 3 will have to come later. Review will have to come later in a later video. So yeah, but 4.5 out of 5, pretty solid sequel. Definitely interesting. This is basically started these films basically started the restarted the found footage boom and mockumentary boom in the early 2000s, and it's still going on now. So yeah, it's interesting. Definitely check it out. It's a good solid sequel. Just make sure if you haven't seen the first one, make sure you watch the first one first because it'll make way more sense. Way more sense. So definitely check it out. Yeah, trailer's linked down below like always if you haven't seen it or if you just want to relive it. Yeah, it's linked down below. Also, my Instagram is always linked down below. I post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story, where I hide the title and the hashtag somewhere in the video clip for fun. So if you want to find out and guess what or try to guess what I'm going to review next, yeah, it's there. Also, I put the subgenre of film in the video clip too, in case it's something that don't like, or if it's something you're not sure of, you're aware of that in advance. So make sure you follow me on Instagram to stay in the loop. Like this video, share it so more people are remember it and check it out again and aware of my channel. So make sure you share this video. Comment down below your opinions of this film. Did you like the sequel as much as I did, or do you think this one's garbage or something? I'd love to hear your opinions on it, so make sure you comment them down below. And if you have any films at all, franchises or whatever that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below too. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can. And yeah, make sure you subscribe because you never really know what I'm going to talk about next, even though I'm pretty sure the next few reviews will be the rest of the Paranormal Activity film franchise. So make sure you subscribe to hear the rest of my opinions on the other films. So with that, I'm off for now, and I'll see you in the next review. Cheers.